Alright guys, today we've got a Samsung front load washer. Now the issue with this one is the shocks are bad. And how we know that is we've hooked it up to power, put it on the spin mode, and allowed it to run empty. It runs, there's no loud bearing noises, there's nothing that would make you think the spider arm is broken, which sometimes sounds like gravel or sand. See what I mean? When you spin this, if you've got a broken spider arm, you can get spinning this pretty quick and you'll hear either like a cracking noise, I don't know how you describe it, a crunking noise, sand, rocks, gravel falling down. That's how you know the spider arm on the back. This one's not that old though. This machine is only just going on 5 years old. So very unlikely that the spider arm would be broken at this point unless it was just extremely abused. And you can tell just by looking at this seal here that this is very well kept machine, but unfortunately the shocks have gone bad on it. So listen. That sounds perfect. The bearings aren't bad on a full speed spin. It's nice and quiet, so the bearings aren't bad. It's just these 4 shocks here. Now, here's the thing about the shocks. I always use, as long as the lengths of the shocks are correct, I always use this part number right here because it's the cheapest of them. You can get them OEM. Now please hear me out. If you get these shocks on Amazon, this whole thing will be a waste of time and it won't work for you. I'll put a link in the description for people who don't listen to me and don't take my advice on the parts and think that maybe the Amazon parts will work. If you want to waste your time with that, I'll put a link in the description that you can purchase and waste all your time and money if you want, just because I've come to find that lots of people don't actually listen to me and they do what they want anyway. So there'll be a link for Amazon parts in the description, the best of the worst that still won't work, but those will be there. Otherwise, I'll put the link in the description to the OEM quality parts. They're expensive, but they work. And this is the cheapest of them, and I always use this one. Now what this actually calls for is a D on the end. So you have an A, B, C, and D. And the A is typically for the front, the B is typically for the back, and for some reason this machine on all 4s uses a D, and they're pretty expensive. These aren't that bad. AppliancePartsPros.com, links in the description. You can pick these up. They are kind of expensive, but I mean, it's the nature of the beast. It is what it is. We'll get those put on here though, and as long as they work, which they should. I've done this several times on all the other front load Samsungs, and I always use that same part and it works fine. So anyway, we're gonna get it put on there, save ourselves some time, some money. I'm gonna show you step by step how this is gonna work, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, now that we're back here, in order to get, let's take a look here. There's our shock right there. And see, it's got a bolt on top and then a bolt on the bottom, if you can see it there. Get it to focus for you down there. Okay, right there and right there. And how you access those is through these holes. So with our extension here, and the bottom one is gonna be a 12 millimeter. The top one is a 10. So now the bottom one's gonna be the easy one, because what you're gonna do is just reach through here and it very easily fits on. However, the top one, I know they have this hole here for it, and that's what it's for, but sometimes it's easier just to, you can see I'm almost straight on from here. So just get to the top one however you can. And sometimes if the shocks, if these were good, we could pretty easily be holding itself up better and we could get over here to it, but we're gonna be able to get onto it just fine from here. We'll go ahead and take the bottom one out first. So we'll slide in there on the bottom first, and then we'll take the top one out. Okay, so here's the difference in the shocks. This is the one that came off, and it actually slid over a plastic piece, and then the screw went straight into the plastic piece here. This one has this metal in it, and it actually inserts with plastic on both sides, and the bolt goes through. That's how these are designed. However, if you look, they're actually the same, except this one has this metal insert for the other style. That's this out of the box here. So all I'm gonna do is grab my pliers, and I've already kind of started. I'm just gonna pull this out and see if it'll fit in there. Because otherwise they're identical. They're exactly the same. Okay, so I got that metal piece out. Let's just, before we go through all this work, let's just see if it'll even slide over that plastic now. Might have to, oh, look at that. Perfect. All right, so I took the metal sleeve out, and now it slid right over the plastic. Perfect. Right down there, it fits in. Perfect. So now I'm just gonna put my bolts back in place, and the new shock will be installed. So here's the other one. That's the old one. And that's the new one. So, good to go. So what I'm doing here is I'm using this hand to move the shock around, and I'm using this one with the extension to just kind of line it up. I'm just gonna hand thread it before I hit it with the impact, just to make sure nothing gets cross-threaded. And these don't have to go in super crazy hard either. That's it. And now we're gonna repeat the steps on the other side. All right, so the back shocks are done, both sides. These are the easy ones to do. Grab my flashlight. We will move on to the front now, but there's one and there's two, and we'll close this back up. Don't need it open. And the back is done. However, most of the time it's the front ones that actually need to be changed. But in this case, we're gonna do all four. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little as cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several $100s for them to fix it when it could be something so simple and so small that you can fix it. So follow the tips in the video. If you have any tips or any best practices, maybe something I missed, drop it in the comments because I do read the comments and I do learn a lot from them as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like and share this content. We'll get it out to more folks who need to save some time and some money. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.